Hello, welcome back to Animated Literacy. This is lesson number 21 from the Story Song and Action book. In our last lesson, we learned about Timmy Tiger, and here's a picture of Timmy Tiger. And what is it that Timmy Tiger is doing? He's tickling, isn't he? And who is he tickling? Here's Terrible Tommy T-Rex. So show me how you're going to tickle Terrible Tommy T-Rex's tummy and go, are you tickling? Are you tickling? Timmy Tiger, Timmy Tiger. Timmy's bells are saying, Timmy's bells are saying, ting tong ting, ting tong ting. Now if we take our cards and we go through the different animals that we've been working on, we can change their sound a little bit more quickly. So let's say we put a puppy up here. If it's Timmy Tiger's puppy, it's not going to say bark, bark. What's it going to say? Tark, tark, tark. And if it's Polly Panda's, show me painting. Park, park, park. And if it's Lizzie Lamb, show me laying your head on lemon leaves. Ling, long, ling. Or for it would be our puppy, he's not going to go ling, long, ling. What's he going to do? Lark, lark, lark. And here's Sadie Seal, and she's surfing. So show me surfing. Sing, song, sing if it's a bell, but if it's a puppy, sark, sark, sark. And Daisy Dragon would be dark, dark, dark. What is it if it's dark? If you cover up your eyes and close them, it'll be dark. And if it's Mimi Mermaid with her magic mop, what are her puppies going to say? Mark, mark, mark. And if we change to a lamb, what's going to happen? We're going to be going ma, 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 ta, 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 pa, 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 la, 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 sa, 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 da, da, da. And if we switch it to a rat, what's it going to be doing? Deek, 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 meek, 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 teek, teek, teek. So we can practice those fairly fast. We're going to be adding a new one today that we can play with. So up to this point, we've learned about our bells going ding dong, our puppies going bark bark, our rats going squeak squeak, our cats are going meow meow, and our sheep are going baa baa. Today we're going to add an owl to the bottom, and our owl is going to be saying hoot hoot. So here's an owl. And if our owl was Timmy Tiger's owl, instead of saying hoot hoot, what do you think it's going to say? Toot toot. What kind of thing can toot? Oh, a whistle can toot, a horn can toot. Okay, so let's use our owl with our different sounds. Poot, poot, poot. Loot, loot, loot. Suit, suit, suit. Doot, doot, doot. Moot, moot, moot. So now we can start playing with our owl each day. Let's take a look at some vowel sounds. So we'll get our old lady back out. Yesterday we had our owl, our old lady was eating an egg, and I believe she was eating a tomato. Now egg has the vowel at the beginning of the word. Today we're going to change where we put the vowel. So remember in the old story of the old lady, the first thing she swallowed was a fly. So we're going to use a fly first. And in fly, the vowel comes way at the end of the word. So if we have our owl and it is eating a fly, here's our picture of our owl, only this owl doesn't go hoot hoot. Instead, in our story of the owl and the mouse, the owl's chasing the mouse. She runs into her townhouse. And when she gets into her townhouse, the owl's coming so fast trying to chase and catch her that he can't stop, and he hits his head on the door and he goes, ow! So put your hand up in the air, bring it down on top of your head, pretend like you bumped your head and go, ow! Now if our owl eats the fly, it's not going to go fly because that has ike sound at the end. Instead we're going to put owl sound at the end and it's going to go flow. If she eats an avocado, let's see how many syllables are in avocado. In fly, how many did we have? Fly, just one. But if we use head and shoulders, knees and toes with avocado, it's going to be avocado. How many syllables? 4. So if we change each one of those vowel sounds in those syllables to our owl, it's going to go, say this after me, ow vow, ow vow, cow dow, cow dow. Now if we can put all 4 of those together, it will be this, ow vow, cow dow. Say that again after me, ow vow, cow dow. Now let's see if we can put the fly and the avocado into our song for apples and bananas. Ready? Owl likes to out, 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 flows and ow vow cow dows. See if you can sing that. Owl likes to out, 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 flows and ow vow cow dows. Let's try those for some of our other vowel sounds. Here we have Ichabod ichthyosaurus, and Ichabod is itchy. So pretend like your shoulders are all itchy. Cross your arms like this and go, yeah. Now if we put that in our 2 words, it's going to be this. The fly is going to become a fli. We say that, fli. And the avocado is going to become a ivikide. So it can go ivikide. Let's try that in our song. Ready? Ichabod likes to it, fliz and ivikidiz. Your turn. Ichabod likes to it, fliz and ivikidiz. Let's do one more vowel. Here's Irving, and Irving is turning his scooter, so he's going. So if Irving eats the fly, it's going to be fleur. Say that after me, fleur. But if he does an avocado, we have to do it 4 times. It's going to be an ver. Say that, ver, curder, curder. And if we put that all together, we've got ver, curder. Irving likes to ert, fleurs and ervercurders. Irving likes to ert, fleurs and ervercurders. Well, today we're going to be drawing 2 things. So first we're going to talk about what we already know about these. And the first thing is going to be toys. So most of us know about toys. And you probably have many toys at home. So you can talk to your parent or your teacher about what your favorite toys are, where you like to play with them, what you like to do with them. And here are some books about toys. This little girl has a great big elephant. That is her favorite toy. And she sleeps with her elephant. She reads to her elephant. She talks to her elephant. She does her homework with her elephant. But sometimes she has to leave her elephant all alone. So when she's away from her elephant, she makes up all these different stories about what she thinks that elephant might be doing while she's away. And so this is called I've Got an Elephant, and it's a Skybrary book. So if you have that app, you can read that on Skybrary. And here's another similar one. This is a child who has a platypus. Now there was an animal called a platypus, but this one's called a platypus because the design on the clothing is checkers, like my shirt. My shirt is plaid, and this is plaid. So instead of a platypus, it's called a platypus. And this is one that was sewn for the child by his mother, and he keeps losing it. and has to hunt all over. So it could be lost my platypus, what'll I do? Skip to my loo, my darling. And here's Spot. And just like our dog does, our dog has a toy box. And it's always digging in its toy box to figure out which toy it wants to play with next. And that's what Spot is doing here. The toy we're going to be talking about today is a top. And here are some tops that you can spin, and I'll show you a top in just a moment, and we'll be spinning that top. And some of them you have to twist to spin. Some of them you pump up and down like this and they spin. And some of them, like the ones you see here and the one that you see down here, you pull a string and it causes the top to spin. So here's how I spin a top. This is one of my favorite tops, and it's made out of glass, so it's got all kinds of pretty colors. Now I'll have to hold something up here to see if I can spin it on. So when I give it a twist, I'll see if I can keep it straight up and down so that it can spin. So there it goes, spinning around. You can see it's tipping just a little bit while it's spinning. Now you can have a contest to see how long you can make your top spin before it falls down. So you can count, or you can use a watch. And here's a plastic top. So if we put that on there and we give it a twist, there it tipped right over. There it goes. Now I can kind of move my board around and we can make that top go different places on the board. So that's kind of fun. Now that's not the only thing that we're going to be drawing today. Today we're also going to be talking about pots. Now there are many different types of pots. This picture is of a boy whose mom cooks beans a lot of the time, and she's cooking them, putting the beans in a cooking pot, and he's not real happy about that. Some people really like beans, and some people aren't so fond of beans, and he really doesn't like beans that much. But it turns out in a store down the street they're having a contest using beans, where they have lots of beans filling a pot, and the person who comes closest to guessing the number of beans in that pot wins a sewing machine. So he helps his mom by estimating, which is making an educated guess at how many beans are in the pot. And it turns out that his mom gets the closest and she wins the sewing machine, but she still cooks beans. This is a boy who uses a pot in a different way. And this is a Skybrary book, and it's called Boy, Bird, and Dog. And this boy has a tree house. So he has a house that's built up in a tree, and he likes to go up in his tree house and spend lots of time there. But he likes to have company. And here's his dog, but the dog can't climb the tree. So what this boy does to get his dog up into the tree house is he takes and he puts his dog inside a pot. Then he ties a rope to that pot and he pulls the dog up into the tree house. When his mom brings him cookies, instead of his mom having to climb up into the tree house, she puts the cookies in the pot and he pulls them up into the tree house. This is a book that has a lot of good math problems in it, so you can learn a lot about money and adding and so forth in this book, and it's called The Penny Pot. This is like a lot of stores have, where you'll see right next to the cash register, they'll have a little container or a little pot. And if you buy something and you have some pennies left over, sometimes people put their pennies in that pot for somebody else to use. So if somebody comes up and they're short a penny, they don't quite have enough pennies, they can take pennies out of the pot to buy what they want. And if somebody has leftover pennies, they can put them in the pot for the next person. So that's why it's called a penny pot. Here's some pictures of some pots. The pots that you see up at the top here are often used for planting, and you can put flowers or you can put leafy plants. And you can see that some of those pots have lots of dots on them. And then down at the bottom are some cooking pots, and there's some dots again in this cooking pot. So they might be beans in those pots, or they might be soup or stew or something else in those pots. Another kind of pot is a teapot. So people will put tea leaves in the teapot, and it'll simmer in the teapot and brew a pot of tea. Pots have been around for a long, long time. these are very ancient or old pots. And scientists who are called archaeologists often look for pots in caves and in pyramids and in various places that people lived a long time ago, and they can be thousands of years old. And people would cook in the pots, but they would also keep things that were very important to them in their pots. And so the scientists or the archaeologists can look in those pots to see what people have left behind, to see what kind of a life that they used to live. So we're going to be drawing a picture of a pot today, and we're going to be drawing a picture of a top today. So if you would take out your pen and your paper, on the count of 3, we're going to take our cap off our pen. 1, 2, 3. Take the cap, put it on the other end, and give it a push, and hold your pen up in the air and show me when you're ready to start drawing a top. The first thing I'm going to do to draw my top is I'm going to put a straight line for the middle. Now we're going to do the bottom. So I'm going to come to this end and make a curve that goes across and back up to this side. Then we'll do the same thing on the top, make a curve that goes up and over and connects here. Now the top needs something to spin on. It needs a point. So we're going to come down and make a triangle here so our top can spin. And then it needs something that I can hold on to give that top a twist. So I'm going to come to the middle here, and I'm going to make a little rectangle that you can hold on to. Now, some people make their tops kind of fancy. So we're going to kind of fancy it up by making some dots. And dots are circles that you have colored in. So we're not going to pound with our pen. We're just going to make small circles and color in those small circles. Now we want to show that the top is spinning. So I'm going to put some movement lines here. And those are just curves. I'll add some movement lines down here. Then I'll come here at the top and add some movement lines. So what are we calling this today? This is a top. So let's say the word slowly and listen for the sounds. Say top. What sound did you hear first? T for tickling. And now let's look up at Timmy Tiger. How does he spell that? He spells it with a T. So let's make a small T with a straight line down. Come up a little over halfway and make another straight line. Say the word top again. Top. What sound do you hear? Ah. And now we can find Ollie Ostrich and see that he has many ways to spell his sound, but most of the time he spells it with an O, so we'll put an O there. Show me the last sound you hear in top. Top. P for painting. And how does Polly spell that? With a P, so we'll make a straight line down. Come back and add a curve. Now top is a noun, so we can put that in a circle and tie our string. Now we drew some dots here. We know all the sounds for dot now. So let's say that word slowly. Dot. What do you hear first? Dot. Dancing. And how does Daisy spell that? With a D, so let's make a straight line down. Come back up about halfway and make a curve. Show me the next sound you hear in dot. Dot. Ah, Ollie Ostrich again. So we're going to make an O for Ollie Ostrich. And what's our last sound? Dot. T. Tickling. And how did we spell our tickling sound for Timmy Tiger? With a T. So now that's a noun. So we can put dot in a circle and tie the string to one of the dots. So now we're going to draw a picture of a pot. So to start our pot, we're going to begin with the lid on our pot. And we need something to pick up that lid with. So I'm going to make a curve here, another curve inside that curve, then put a little curve here at the bottom. So there's my handle. Now we're going to finish by starting here a little ways up on it, coming around to this side. Then make 2 straight lines down and we'll finish the lid or the top of our pot. So there's the lid. Now we need the sides of our pot. So I'm going to make a straight line down, make another straight line just about the same length, then make a curved line connecting them down at the bottom. Now we need a handle to be able to pick up the pot. So I'm going to come a little over halfway, make a curve here, and another curve inside of it. Then I'll come about the same way up on the other side, make a curve, another curve. Now just like we did when we were drawing our top, we're going to decorate it with some dots, and I showed you some pots that had lots of dots on them. So let's say the word pot now. Everybody say pot. What do you hear first? Oh, painting. So let's make Polly Panda's letter P with a straight line and a curve going halfway down. Say the next sound. Pot. There's Dr. Ollie Ostrich's letter O. And the last sound, pot. T. For tickling. Now let's put that in a circle. And this one's kind of fun because pot is the same, has the same letters in top, but they're backwards. So pot is simply top spelled backwards, and this pot has a top. So let's write the word top again. What's the first sound? T. T for tickling. What's the next sound? Ah. O for going to the doctor. What's the last sound? P. P for painting. Now we can put that in a circle because it's a noun and tie the string to the top. Now you can put the word dot all by yourself when you're back at your seat. So now we can take and we can put that into our song, Skip to My Lou. So we were doing Skip to My Lou last time. We were pretending, I think, to be a dad. And so we were doing things like, Susie, Susie, what can you do? Skip to me, my darling. I can hop like a dad. I can tickle like a dad. I can run like a dad. Well, today we're going to do top. So if you drew your picture on the back of this page, you can just simply turn it over and write the word top. Or if you do it on a different piece of paper, you can copy the word top. Then up here, I want you to put your name 2 times. And then here, we need to figure out what it is you can do to be like a top. Now, I wrote down some words that I could think of to be like a top. So here are some things that you might do to be like a top. You could spin like a top, or you could tip like a top, and you saw my top tipping over. You can whirl like a top, and sometimes tops are called a long word called whirligig. Whirligigs are toys or spinning things like that go round and round in circles. You can twirl like a top. You can turn like a top. When something turns, it rotates. So you can rotate like a top. And I had to twist my top to make it spin, so you can twist like a top. So this page we can put up on the board, and you can copy any of those words that you want to use in yours to be like a top. Or if you can think of something else to put there, you can do that. Now, if you can find the word and you can copy it, or you can figure out a way to spell it, you can write that word. But if you can't, that's okay. You can go ahead and finish your picture of you up here, spinning a top. And while you're drawing and coloring your picture, your parent or your teacher can write the word for you, and then you can rainbow write over the top. Now, we have several puzzles. So your teacher may give you one of these puzzles to do. This one says, I can spin this top. And here's the words. So after you have done your puzzle, you fold it, turn it over on the back, and I'll show you one of those in just a second. That one is from the Story Song and Action book. This is a puzzle that is from the beginning workbook, and it also has the word top in it. But this one says, Dad can spin the top. But if you do your puzzle, if I put a star by Dad and you don't want to put Dad spinning the top, you could put Mom instead of Dad. And if you don't want to put spin, you could choose one of these words instead and write that word on the back of your page. And here's one from the beginning workbook that instead of top, this puzzle has pot. And so here's the sentence, and it says, "The pot of soup is hot." And you can label all of these pictures up at the top. Then, like on all of our pages that have a puzzle, you can fold that. Then your sentence will show up on the back. And you can copy that sentence, and if you're changing any of the words, your teacher can let you know which words you can change. And then you can draw a picture of that sentence. And here's one that one of my kids did a few years ago, and it says, "The pot of soup is hot." And here she is, and she's got three moms there, and she's got her pot, and the pot is in her house, and so she's added some ideas to that. So the next time we'll take a look at Sadie Seal, and we'll start learning about her sound of S. So I hope you enjoyed learning about tops and pots and reading those words, and I will look forward to seeing you in our next lesson.